Hello? Just gonna test. Yeah, looks fine. Hey Alan, nice to see you. Just gonna see if everything works here. Think we should be go. I've done this a few days in a row now, so I think everything should be fine. Hey, I advise. Nice to meet you. So yeah, today wanted to. Hello, Charlie. Wanted to take a look at some Claude code changes. It's been a lot of talk about rate limit changes, so I thought we can just go through that, see what people means, get people involved maybe in the chat. I want to hear maybe what people think of the changes. That is kind of the main thing. And this morning I was testing different stuff in Claude Code. I was looking at different hooks I wanted to learn, a bit more about SubAgents. Gonna be looking at that. And yeah, let's see what happens. But let's just wait a few minutes and I'm gonna dive a bit more into this rate limits here. So I want to hear if people saw this coming or was this a surprise. Hello Dept, god eftermiddag. So I'm not 100% sure what this is gonna mean for Claude Code, but they are kind of saying they estimate this will apply to less than 5%. So it doesn't sound bad, but yeah, we'll see. And there's a lot of different posts on Reddit. I saw on X and stuff. You're gonna just look at some comments, see what people are thinking about this. Thought it could be interesting. So this post got 1.3 million views in one day. Pretty crazy. So I personally haven't had any like big issues with rate limits before. After I upgraded to the $100 plan, but what's gonna happen now if I have this? It's gonna be bad for those that use it seriously, like yourself, and better for casual users. Yeah, I don't think I'm kind of the biggest user of tokens, but like for developers that has kind of gone, hello Arsuni, nice to see you again. Developers, software developers that have gone all in on this, they are probably maybe gonna notice this. Hi English, nice to see you again. Nerijus, nice to see you. So like I said in the beginning, we're just gonna talk a bit about the changes to... Just want to hear what people think about the new rate limits. And if people think they're gonna be affected by this. Hello, Mohaiva. Nice to see you again. Kagdas, nice to meet you. Haven't seen you here, so thanks for dropping by. Rset LV, nice to meet you. You seem like you're Swedish, so hello. Hey. Yeah, like I was saying, I'm on the... Hello, Benjamin. I'm on the 5X plan, so I haven't had any real issues yet. Hello, Pitch and Kicker. Thanks for that, I appreciate it. But so you got the 5 hours limit yesterday? Yeah, okay. So you are pretty you're pretty I don't know, English. What do you kind of think initially of the new announcements on the rate limits? Do you think it's gonna affect you? Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I know they state here that the estimate will only apply to less than 5%. So that's gotta be kind of the users that... So 95% will not be affected. So as soon as it says... It was kind of expected. I was asking questions about the limits and how they compare to my API users. Yeah, that was what I was thinking too. Like, was this expected? I kind of wanted to do a poll on this. I started to use more Sonnet. Yeah, that's what I've been doing too. I kind of wanted to do a poll, what people kind of... If this was a surprise. So let's do that. Expected. I'm gonna do... Hello, Ali Risa. Do you think these AI companies charge based on the salaries of people who live in the US? Yeah. I guess if you're like from a country like with less income, it's gonna be expensive, right? Yeah, see you soon, English. So let's do a poll on this to see if the people are here, what you think of this. We haven't really seen the effect yet, I guess, but let's see if we can... I don't know, I just said expected seems fair, or if you're disappointed in the changes. For me, I kind of... When we saw the people spending $5,000 of API cost and they paid $200, that kind of told me something is gonna change. What are the new limits? Hello, Martin. Saravana, nice to meet you. One aspect, Claude restricting usage, and other aspect... and another aspect, they are hook developer to use more SubAgents to more automation. Yeah, it could be that. Hello, Serkan. Nice to meet you. What I don't like about Anthropic though is that it's always about limits, whether platform or the API, like the RPM caps. Yeah, there could be like a lack of compute, right? It has to be. Only a surprise because I didn't know it was coming, but it makes sense when it affects only 5%. Yeah, I have some. There's this kind of leaderboard. We're gonna look at that. That people are spending like insane amounts of tokens. I don't even know how they can do this. Yeah, I think about the rate limits and stuff, it has to be compute issues. Thanks, Serkan. Nice to see you here. So, Martin, we're gonna look at the new limits. I'm not 100% sure what it's gonna be changed. Like it's gonna be like weekly now, I think, instead of 5 hours. AI class code says, thankfully I cancelled a few days ago when I realized it was getting dumber. Okay. I know the use case is different, but I never reached a limit using ChatGPT. No, me neither. But of course, I spend more tokens in Claude Code than I use in ChatGPT. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see GPT-5. I think I read someone that talked about it could be good for coding. Hello, Tim. Seems plan to minimize outage. Yeah. I have run into overloaded warnings on Claude Code. Thanks for covering it. Appreciate the live. Yeah, I'm interested in getting into coding, brand new. Any recommendations on a totally new beginner? I have to jump, but I'll be rewatching. Okay, cool. So Charlie, any recommendations on a total new beginner? Maybe if you want to dive into coding, I would just start with something simple. Maybe not start with Claude Code. Maybe you could start with some of the Lovable or some of the vibe coding platforms, or if you want to build something and just try to take it from there, maybe learn a bit more about structure and stuff. I'm not quite sure what the best advice for a total new beginner. I would just get started getting familiar with the tools. That's kind of my usually recommendation if you want to get into this. Just start playing around with the tools and just take it from there, I guess. I would like them to do daily limits, but to reduce the 5-hour wait down. Then at least when you are in the zone working. Reduce the 5-hour wait down. Yeah, okay, that's an alternative, I guess. You can work better for a day or so to get the work done and not use it all our days. I guess so. The problem is that when I set daily, weekly, and monthly limits, so if you use it heavy or short period, yeah, I see what you mean. You can easily get stuck. That would be helpful if how many tokens you have available before you run out. Yeah, I think they have to do that, right? So you kind of know where you are on your limit. Thanks, Charlie, for dropping by, and have a great day. Hopefully see you again soon. So let's take a look at the poll now. I don't know. Okay, we have a lot of votes here. So 44% says so far that is what's expected, and almost 40% are disappointed. Yeah, of course you could be both. You could be disappointed, but also as expected. When some of you guys spent like $2,000 on a $200 plan of API cost. But let's just go through the tweets and kind of the post. I also have the email. So we're rolling out new weekly rate limits for Claude Pro and Max in late August. We'll estimate they will apply to less than 5% of subscribers based on current usage. Okay. So that's not gonna be me, I think. And I kind of follow up with Claude Code has seen unprecedented demand, especially as part of our Max plan. Yeah. Because it was really good value if you used it a lot for things that was productive. We'll continue to support this growth while we work on making Claude Code even better, but for now we need to make some changes. Some of the biggest Claude Code fans are running it continuously in the background 24/7. These users are remarkable and we want to enable them, but a few outlying cases are very costly to support. For example, one user consumed tens of thousands of model usage on a $200 plan. Yeah, this was kind of the rumors, right? People spending thousands of dollars and just paying $200 in API cost. So that's probably something Anthropic... they should have expected that, but I don't know. In other cases, a small number of users are violating our users policies by sharing and reselling accounts. Okay, that's not good, but that should be like an individual punishment, shouldn't it be? This impacts a capacity for all Claude users, and we're taking appropriate action to stop it. So from August 28th, so it's a month, we will introduce new weekly limits that will mitigate these problems while impacting as few customers as possible. We will also support Max Plan users buying additional usage at the standard API rates. Okay, so that's gonna get expensive, right? Why do I keep clicking on that? And we're still exploring the best ways to ensure as broad access as possible to Claude Code. If you're a power user who wants feedback on how we can support your specific use of Claude Code, we'd love to hear from you. Okay. So, yeah. They have some fair points, I guess, but shouldn't they kind of have expected that coming? So McCabe Wrigley says some of the biggest Claude fans are running it continuously in the background 24/7. For example, yeah. So so he has done that, right? Yeah. Have you used N8N? Have you made a video about it? I haven't yet, Deathwolf, but it's on my plan. I'm gonna try it. So Tim is back to hating Anthropic. Yeah, I guess the only thing I have to say is like they should, if they enable unlimited use. It's not fully unlimited, but if you can get this much value, some people are gonna take advantage of that, right? So here's one guy. I totally support this. It makes me feel less frustrated when not having Claude instances running during working hours. I only use Claude Code for personal projects. Was blocked by overloaded APIs over the past 2 weeks. Super annoying. Yeah, it happened to me a few times too. I got this overloaded message. The correct sensible reaction. Thank you for limiting abusers and allocating more server space for normal users like myself. I guess I'm not gonna be affected. I don't think I'm gonna be because I don't spend. So I can show you this. So this is the leaderboard part I found. I don't know where this leaderboard is, but or this is kind of, I don't know where this is. But here you can see it states that this user, Jeffrey Huntley, spent $458,000, 13 billion tokens. Is that even possible? I don't understand this. Can this be correct? 13 billion tokens. 89 billion tokens. This is just sad. They probably didn't even code something useful. So someone says, to be fair, this is an anthropic problem, at its core, not a user problem. They should have known better. They should have had better transparency and guardrails in place from the start, so users knew exactly what they were getting for the money and what the actual usage limit is for the plans. So of course, people start using a tool and realize there's no limit. They're gonna keep pushing it, right? I kind of agree a bit with this. They should have seen this coming, I think. I think so. I was really happy with this 5-hour limit. It seemed quite fair. But someone here yesterday mentioned something that they could have 2 accounts and they use this, some kind of bridge. So when one account got limited, they just switched to another one. I guess they're paying for both though, but it is pretty interesting. So the email I got was, I guess we kind of went through this. But if we look at, if you kind of look at the limits, so hard to zoom on this. My usage, I don't have that installed now, but it's not high. I don't have a lot of uses for, I don't spend a lot of tokens. So what's changing? Starting August 28th, we're introducing the weekly usage limit alongside our existing 5-hour limits. So those will still provide, I guess. So the current is now limit resets every 5 hours. The new one is going to be an overall weekly limit that resets every 7 days. And Claude Opus 4 weekly limit that also resets every 7 days. It's a bit confusing, isn't it? Hello, Mick Bob. In my case, the limit that I hit seems random. Yeah. I would like to see... I would also like to see my... like an overview of kind of my usage limit. That would be nice. Yeah, this seems a bit... if you don't know how much left you have of your weekly limit, it could be limiting, I think. And I follow up with what this means for you. Most users won't notice any difference. The weekly limits are designed to support a typical daily use across your projects. So most 5x users, this is kind of me, can expect 140 to 280 hours of Sonnet 4 and 15 to 35 hours of Opus 4 within their weekly rate limits. So for me, that seems fine. Heavy Opus users with large code bases and those running multiple Claude Code instances in parallel will hit their limits sooner. You can manage or cancel a subscription anytime in settings. Okay, nice. None of the companies ever give you info on how much your quota you have used until you reach it. Yeah, I guess ChatGPT has something like, you now have 5 messages left or something, I guess. But here it's a bit more urgent because if you're actually running this on your code base and you're kind of set up your system, so you're kind of dependent on using maybe some agents and stuff to do stuff for you. If you suddenly reach your weekly limit, you could get some issues. But for me personally, I don't think I'm gonna be affected. But I know some of you that has been here the last few streams spend a lot of tokens. So some of you could get affected, I guess. So I kind of wanted to read a bit of the comments here, what people are thinking about this, just to get like a sentiment analysis. Yeah, I like this one maybe. So this Reddit user says, okay, then add an always visible toggable percentage indicator of limits per model with timeframes. This would be perfect, right? Then you can kind of see each day how you are kind of doing both on your weekly limits, maybe on your daily limits too. Maybe on your 5-hour limit too. Or just give us a number that you can track yourself. The worst thing is when you just suddenly run out, even you didn't see it coming. Hello Samuel, unfortunately to see rate limits, but I see it as understandable. Yeah, it's expected. I'm not surprised when you kind of see people are spending $10,000 of API credits, but only paying 200. So Martin says, I think weekly is a bad idea unless you know how many. Yeah, exactly. But this toggle here, this is a good idea. This would be perfect. Or just some kind of slash command to see how you're doing. IR Suni says, I hope GPT-5 puts real pressure on them, so they stop overdoing it. From my point of view, it feels like they have a strong position and just doing whatever they want. Yeah, they kind of have the... If they have the best coding models, they need some competition, right? Because I think it feels like most developers now that are kind of serious are kind of, even if they are on Cursor, they are picking the Sonnet models. And I think especially Opus is like so expensive when you kind of compare them to other models. yeah, I can see that, Martin. That's a good one. Where are those leaderboard guys flexing 24-hour execution? Yeah, this is the guys. But I don't understand this. Is it possible to use 13 billion tokens? 89 billion. How are they doing this? I don't know. Crazy. GPT-5 will be a solution. I mainly use Opus 4 and I feel that $100 will not. If you are running Claude code on API cost, you're just gonna get $200 in like a few hours. How did it even get this information? I don't know. I know there is this open source tool that tracks your token spending. So you can kind of see how much you have racked up in API cost. So Samuel says, I also think AI as an assistive tool, amazing technology, yet I think it would be a big mistake to simply plug in all systems into it and autonomously run them without safeguards. Yeah, I don't even see if you're running this 24/7. I don't even know what you get out of that. Do you even get... I don't even know. You have to do some manual stuff, right? Yeah, I see that, Martin. Are you on the $20 plan? It's weird that number one is exactly twice. Yeah, I see that now. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about this, but something I found. The leaderboard tells me Claude needs to tighten its rate limiting to rein in the users themselves call the top 5%. Be interesting to see how they actually rack up this many tokens. Okay, you're on the $20 plan. Yeah, that's a pretty good. I kind of like that plan too. If you have if you don't have any rush. Hello, Dorabs. When you have unlimited data subscription with carriers, you get onto a small leaderboard when hitting the. You get onto a small band when hitting the limit. They could do the same for heavy users. I guess so. They seem to have gone another way though. With MVPs, testing eats up a huge amount of tokens before getting to the final solution. There's no choice. We have to run tests. Yeah, I see what you mean. I tried this test-driven development workflow. The agents ran for 6 hours. I don't think they spent a lot. They probably spent like 1 million tokens, 1 million, something like that. But that was a small application. But they ran for 6 hours straight. Thanks, Samuel. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, a lot of people seem kind of angry about this. But again, I think maybe Anthropic should have seen this coming. And it seems like it's just going to be a collective punishment. There might be 5% of users that are heavy users. I don't think it will affect users like us. I agree. I don't think I'm going to be affected at all. I'm quite sure. I think I'm going to be fine. Hello, Alpha. But I think like if people has violated policies, like sharing and reselling access, they should be just banned, right? An advanced users pattern like running 24/7 in the background. If they broke the policy, I guess they could just ban them. It shouldn't be an issue. Anthropic are driving your most power users anyway, who also your most avid brand ambassadors. They will go to other providers that may well trigger a downfall of Anthropic. Let's see. To be honest, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a change. We'll see. You're working on an HR project and imagine submitting 300 CVs to the model for a single test. That's 5 million tokens for one run. Yeah. I see what you mean. But I think we'll be fine. Most of us. Another thing to put, do you need to use Opus 4 for everything? 100%. I just, the way I do it, I go to my Claude and I do /models. Run npxcc usage on your terminal. Okay, I can try that. So what I do when I select my model, if I don't have anything very specific, I just I have Sonnet kind of as my default, And if I know if I'm going to do something on my course platform or some that is a bit more serious stuff, I'm just switching it to Opus. But just when I'm playing around, not doing anything specific, just learning about agents and stuff, I'm just going to use Sonnet. For me, that's been working fine. So what did you say, Maluleke? I haven't seen this. Sonnet's usage should be okay. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so here you can see my usage. You can see I don't spend... I guess I've spent... I got my value though. So since in the last month, I have spent $276. And I've been on vacation too. But I only paid $100, so I got some value. But this was in the middle of a vacation too. You can see here from the 3rd here, I didn't use it because I was away. So yeah, still good value. Has anyone else run this? If you are on your computer now, just run npx. What was it? npx cc usage. Would be interesting to hear what your sum is the last... is it the last month? I think so. So that wasn't too bad. So I'm gonna be fine, but I'm gonna use it a bit more going forward. That's why I upgraded to the $100 plan. I think. So let's take a look at the poll again. So we got 60 votes, that's pretty good. So we have 45% is disappointed and 40% think of this as expected, that they are changing the rate limits. But again, it could be both. Samuel says, you spend much more than I do, sir. I stay within my limits. You have ChatGPT Plus, you have Cursor Pro, okay? Yeah, I kind of got rid of my Cursor Pro after I switched to the $100 Claude Code. Hello, Night Spider, nice to see you. So you're not one of the people say Anthropic is running it 24/7. No, that's not me. So I have some value, I guess, but not like crazy. I think they are still within the margins here, right? They have margins on the API cost. At least for Opus. So you can see, I haven't even used Opus lately. I kind of should have done that maybe, but... I haven't really done any changes on my course platform, so I haven't used Opus this week. British has spent $1,600. Oh, you are on the $200 plan? I think you're gonna be fine though. How many tokens total? Use Opus for concepts only. Yeah, Edgar, that's kind of what I do. I just go to models or model, and I have Sonnet as my default. And when I'm gonna do... I guess when you say concepts, do you use it for coming up with new concepts or plan mode? So I tried to, when kind of the plan mode came out, I tried to use Opus for plan mode, and I switched to Sonnet. Okay, so British upgraded to the $200 plan. 800 million tokens. Okay, that's a lot. But you might be fine, I'm not sure. Mikbab has also got great value. He spent, on the $100 plan, he spent API cost of $1,200. That's pretty good. Hello, Sid. Can you configure custom instructions for SubAgents also? Yeah. If you go to agents, each of them have a system message. We're gonna look at that soon. I have some things I want to check out. So you can do custom instructions for each SubAgent. They even have their own context window now. Edgar says he has also developed his own prompting technique where I need the most precise instructions following. Okay. Is Ben still alive? Yeah, we're gonna check him out soon. So Edgar, do you mean... is this because you have a lot of tools and agents and custom commands so that Claude Code picks the right tools? Do you have any advice on developing for iOS 26? I gave Claude VV DC25 transcripts. Oh, I have no advice for iOS development. Maybe some other people do. If someone has any experience with... is that in Swift, is it? Hello, Rajesh. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but you look like someone from Ethical Hacker I used to watch previously. Okay, that might be it. I don't know who that is. Let me know, and I can check it out. Yeah, so seems like people are... if you look at the poll again, okay, so now we are at 42. So I guess kind of the conclusion is that a lot of people was expecting some changes, but they are still kind of disappointed. That would be my takeaway. So you develop software iteratively and don't plan... Okay, I see. So you don't plan ahead doing this. I work with state and try to leverage intelligence at the beginning of each iterations. Okay, I see. Cool. So how has Claude Code worked for you then? So Night Spider, you tried the YOLO mode yesterday? Is that the... you mean like the... what's this flag called? Dangerously skip permissions? Just skip the confirmation steps. Yeah, I see what you mean. Where did I find the flags? Can I see them here? Can't remember. I know what you mean. Those flags, right? Yeah, that one. Okay, I see what you mean. I haven't tried the dangerous skip permissions yet. But I will. I guess I tried it, but not for anything anything special, right? Where are those flags? Is it slash commands? Or is it... yeah, I can't really remember. Yeah, but I've seen them. Okay, so I think we kind of can conclude the rate limit part now. I just wanted to have a look at it. Seems like people was expecting this, but a lot of people are a bit disappointed. I can see that. Yeah. So I'm gonna end this poll now, and we can see it here. So I also can see the angle of it seems fair when people are like overspending a lot, but so you always find yourself fighting against the chain of thought pre-training. Okay. How much was reduced? Do you mean the rate limits, Co? Hello, Sean. So you started using the Windows version. Seemed like the Windows version wasn't as good as the VSL version, so I switched back to Windows VSL. Okay. Yeah, there was someone here talking about using it native in Windows yesterday. Hello, a spoonful of Joe. Most expensive prompt I had is 14.8 million tokens. Okay, so you've been using the 20x plan, Co. I'm worried about the weekly limit. Yeah, if you just got here, we can take a look again. So basically, they're gonna make some changes. So now we can have the usage limits that resets every 5 hours. So that's gonna still be in. So that's gonna be no change. But they're gonna add a new overall weekly limit that resets every 7 days. And they're gonna add a new weekly limit to Opus 4 that resets every 7 days. So it's kind of hard to say, but they have some estimates here that 5x users can expect up to 280 hours use of Sonnet and up to 35 hours of Opus within the weekly rate limits. So it's kind of hard to say. So heavy Opus users might be more affected. So Night Spotter, you are using Windows Claude Code Native. Okay. So I thought I could ask. I had two more things I wanted to do today. The new limits will probably only affect you if you are exceeding the Opus limit. Yeah, I think so. We'll see. I had two more things I wanted to look at today. I wanted to look at SubAgents and hooks. This is something I played around with this morning. Just my initial testing. And maybe some of you know more about it. And I saw there's a guy on YouTube. He has this really good Claude Code videos. Indie Dev Dan. Maybe a lot of you have seen his video, but I kind of wanted to take a look at it. I'm not going to publish it, but I think he has good videos on Claude Code. It's a bit over my head, some of the stuff he has, but I wanted to look at the SubAgents video. So English, do you actually try using Sonnet and adding the word ultra think? It switched to Opus automatically. Yeah, someone talked about that yesterday, to add the ultra think something in the prompts. I haven't tried that yet. Indie Dev, yeah, he's great, but it's a bit, could be a bit advanced for some people, I guess. So Code, you just ran the flag dangerous mode. Felt sketchy. 35 hours a week of Opus 4. Opus feeling the full 40-hour work week. Yeah. Indie Dev Dan is quite advanced, yeah. I know. It's not so easy to follow along. But I watched like 10 minutes of his video yesterday, and it didn't seem that complex. So I thought it could be interesting. The video from India about monitoring multiple YOLO CC is marvelous. Okay, yeah, I might take a look at that. To get Claude to think harder, think harder, think hardest, ultra think. Is that a thing? SubAgents use their own context. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so it looks like people wanted to take a look at. We can give it some more time, but I had a look at more hooks and SubAgents today because I saw, if you go to /hooks, I saw they added some new events here. They added an event called SubAgent Stop. So right before a SubAgent task tool call conclude its response. So I don't know if this has been here. It could have been here. Couldn't have been here. So I haven't seen that before. Maybe it's not new. But at least I tried to create a hook with the SubAgent stop this morning, just to get more knowledge about it. And I thought I can just share what I learned. So does people know if these new events here haven't been here before? Hello Chris, Killing Jokes Play. I've been using Claude Code Pro subscription with a very good management context and everything. I could easily manage up to 4 times filling of context. But from yesterday, you're lucky if done once. So do you mean you get this auto-compact context issue? Chris has been trying to get agents to run like an agency. So you're the boss and the task goes to the manager and the manager delegates task. It kind of works with the new SubAgents, Chris. Then kind of Claude, main Claude code is kind of delegating to the SubAgents. We can have a look at that afterwards. So Sonnet with UltraThink was a good substitution for Opus. Okay, interesting. So don't multiple sessions of Claude use their own context? I guess multiple session will use their own context. Yeah, that's true. But I think before we got the SubAgents here, they kind of shared the context window with Claude Code here. So you can run into issues if you had long run times. How do we check the API usage when using Claude plans? You can check, what was it? Sid, you can go to your terminal and you can do npx cc usage. Then you can see how much you spent. SubAgents look interesting, especially in known code use cases. Yeah, I have created some workflows, a lot of agents. CC usage, yeah. You can use /compact. Yeah. So Martin uses Claude Code to make micro SaaS apps. Still blowing my mind how good it is. Yeah, I think Claude Sonnet or Opus are good at UI UX, right? I will try Sonnet with ultra thinking. I can try it afterwards. I haven't tested that. I mean, while using Claude Pro on the same project, how many times do you get autocompact pop up? I see what you mean. Do you mean Claude Code now, or do you mean, I guess you mean Claude Code? Autocompact. So I don't think the autocompact is affecting any plans you're on. But if you switch to using SubAgents, I don't think you're gonna run into autocompact anymore. Yeah, I see what you mean, killing joke. So I understand what, so before or now, when you are running long sessions with Claude Code. So what happens now if I do agent and I do Anna, or I can do Ben. So when I run my agent now, this is kind of the main context, right, for Claude Code. You can see here are the tokens for Claude Code, but Ben here, this sub-agent is going to have its own context window, so it doesn't really affect. It doesn't affect this context window. So now we have kind of split this into two, right? So you shouldn't, if you use a lot of sub-agents, you shouldn't run into this compact issue. At least that's my experience. And you can use /clear, yeah. And /init, that's true.
I successfully retrieved and formatted the top 10 Hacker News posts, showing a diverse range of topics including AI tools, file servers, privacy concerns, video codecs, and development tools. The most popular post was about AI HUDs with 868 points, followed by a file server.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stop that. That is my hook. I was gonna test that later. Okay, so that was kind of my hook. I'm gonna show you that later. So what I did this morning, I wanted to kind of see, I wanted to create a hook that, so when the agent has completed a task, it's gonna call up my 11 labs, and it's gonna read out a summary of what is done. I think I saw that in the Dev Dan video. So that is what I wanted to try out this morning, and I kind of got it to work. It seems to be working fine. You're thinking of adding Gemini CLI for testing? Yeah. I think I'm going to check out more Gemini CLI too. So kind of this simple setup I did this morning for testing is actually, I wanted to create this simple command, custom command, so I can do /agent, and you can see I can do like a agent name here to select what kind of agents I want to run. Or I can run two agents in parallel if I do like Anna, comma, and I can do my second agent, so I can run them in parallel. So that is kind of my custom command, and kind of the way I set that up was, I kind of have this description, so launch a specific agent by name or two agents if you want to run them in parallel. And we're going to do the agent name, and the tool is going to be task. So this is going to use kind of the arguments here, and for parallel execution, we can do this example. And of course, for my agents, I have the name for the sub-agents, Anna and Ben. And I have the description, I have the tools, of course the color. Anna is gonna fetch the top 10 posts on Hacker News. She has access to these tools, web search, web fetch, write and read, and her color. So I'm kind of going to show you kind of how I solve this. Can agents share information and state to come up with solutions and give the final solution back to main Claude? Or since they have their own context window, I don't think agents can share information between them. It has to go through the main Claude agent, right? So basically what I think is happening is like when one sub-agent has done its task, I think it shared the context with the main Claude, but I don't think it's not going to share it with the other subagents. That's my that's what I think, at least. I haven't seen anything about that, but it does share with main Claude though. So you could chain them, right? You can do, let's say I do, so if my Ben agent has to calculate or roll a dice, and it rolls 6, and Anna is gonna use that roll to calculate something. So Claude can pass on the context from Ben to the next agent. You can chain them, but I don't think they're gonna share context among themselves, right? But you can chain and you can run in parallel. But I might be wrong, but that's kind of my first impression of trying this. So yeah, what I was struggling with was, since I wanted to, you might hack this into subagents, create a file for a state and give every subagent the hint it needs to look at the file before starting. Yeah, that might be something. I did like a small hack this morning. I was going to tell you about that now, because I wanted the... So my initial thing was that my subagent Anna here, that's her name, she's gonna check out Hacker News. She's just gonna read the top 10 posts and return it. That is her description and that is her task. But I wanted 11 Labs to kind of read out what Anna has done using the... If we go to hooks, we have something called SubAgent event. So this is gonna be right before the subagent conclude its response. So what happened is I couldn't get the summary from Claude because this event was triggered after the subagent was done. So I had to kind of work around that. So what I did is I gave the subagent a new task. So instead of passing along the context to Claude Code, I just instructed it to write its summary into a text file first. So we have a text file called Anna summary. So this is the subagent is going to write this file. And then we can use this text file here written by the subagent and just place it into the prompt that is going to be sent to 11 Labs. That kind of includes our summary file. So we're just going to set the summary file to be this text file. And that seemed to work. So now I can actually get, even though we have the subagent hook, we can play the summary of what the agent did. Thanks, Co63 watching. Yeah, smash the like button if you think this is interesting. Reminds me of Crew AI. Yeah, it might be that. But the summary is from the latest task made. So what the agent do is, so the idea behind the hook is that when the agent is done, it's gonna say what it did, right? So if the agent has collected information about Hacker News, it's gonna write a summary and read it out when it's done. Does 11 Labs pay as you go pricing for the API? I'm not quite sure. I have a monthly plan now. So this was kind of my hack around this because I couldn't figure out another way to do it, but maybe there's another way. It's not a summary made every time an agent is finished. It's not a summary made every time an agent is finished. Yeah, so this is kind of what I was struggling a bit with, the problem is that when I have two agents, since this hook is for all the agents, I kind of have to include the summary part on all agents. So I can kind of show you how it works now. So if I start my Anna agent, I just do the custom command and I do Anna. So this agent now is gonna launch the Anna agent, and this has like a set task it's gonna do. It's gonna scrape the Hacker News top stories, and it's gonna write a summary about it. And when the agent SubAgent is finished, it's gonna read out what it did. That was what I wanted to learn. Because a hook will trigger every time that happens. Yeah. So if I want this hook, all agents have to write a new summary. If not, it's just gonna read another summary. So it's not really viable, but it was a nice way for me to learn more about hooks, since I haven't really dived so much into that. So I got it to work, and now I kind of understand how I can build more maybe useful hooks, right? So, but this hook isn't really anything useful. It's just gonna read out the summary of what the agent did. So it's not very helpful, but I think it was a nice way of... So now I haven't given this permission every time, so I just have to do this. If I don't remember badly, you can specify settings for specific events in certain conditions. Yeah, that might be true. In this system, you would exit the hook based on the sent parameters. Should work for SubAgents as well. In this system, you would exit the hook based on the sent parameters.
I successfully retrieved and formatted the top 10 Hacker News posts showing a diverse range of topics, including AI interface design, file servers, rate-limiting discussions, LLM security concepts, and programming languages. The most popular post was about AI HUDs, with 889 points, followed by a file server project with 854 points. Notably, there's an active discussion about Claude Code weekly rate limits with 561 points, indicating ongoing community interest in AI development tools and their usage constraints.
Did you hear that? So that is kind of the hook. Sorry, Edgar. In this system, you would exit the hook based on the sent parameters. Should work for SubAgents as well, or am I missing something? I'm not quite sure. I'm quite new to hooks, so I haven't really... Oh, you mean IT systems? You would send a source, for example, and only execute for valid sources. Yeah, that might be true. I'm quite new to this. You can make a hook every time you use bash cp. Yeah, okay, yeah, I understand that. But what I don't 100% understand is... Okay, so I'm not going to remove this. But I want to learn a bit more about this. I also created like a log for my hook, so I can do some debugging. So I can kind of see what it does here. But I think I need to spend a bit more time on the hook part, because in your case, you want to trigger that agent when agent Y finishes or something similar, right? Yeah, so we can change this up. So let's say you can basically... The event is that when this SubAgent is done, or right before it's done, it's gonna, of course, run this hook here. That's gonna run this Python code. Use npx daddy Claude in a new repo as a template. What is that? I haven't heard of that, Sean. So another thing I tried to do was, if I switch this now to just read agent complete. So this is just a string, right? But I can do this. And so if I change this to agent summary, or the string, I can have, if I do agent, and I do Anna and Ben, these are gonna be parallel not found. Okay, so we can run those in parallel. Hello, Carl. The newest indie dev then went a bit over my head too. Yeah, he has very advanced videos. So the idea behind this hook now, when we kind of changed it up to just reading out the string agent completed task. So hopefully now when, let's say Anna is finished, she's gonna say agent completed task, and the same with Ben. So I would like to hear this 2 times now. So someone was asking about the context window earlier. So of course now Anna has her own context window, but she's still writing the summary. I don't know why, but I have her instructed to do that. And of course Ben agent here has his own context window. But English and
I successfully retrieved and formatted the top 10 Hacker News posts, showing a diverse range of topics including AI interface design, file...
Okay, so I forgot. I think you have to reset this. I forgot about that. I think you have to go out and in to get the new hooks. This is a settings example, not tested. What do you mean, English? Indie Dev Dan works very quickly. It's more for pro. Yeah. This is a setting example, not tested. Okay. I'm not 100% following. Sorry. Yeah, I had a look at this video yesterday. I watched like 10 minutes or something. It was pretty interesting. But I think it's for more professionals. I kind of agree with that. But I learned something. And I think we all can if... config agents name scrape name summary. Ah. Okay, I see. Was a bit. I think I see what you mean. But the idea is that you can trigger an agent once the other is finished and pass the context. So you're using hooks for that, I guess? That could be interesting. I think I have to look into that. Do you have like... Could you send that to me in like a text bin or something? Paste bin? Yeah, try that. That could be interesting to test. So if we point to this, and change the hook to only say agent is done. Yeah, try to do that. And I can look at it later today. Ask Claude Desktop or Claude Web to create a hook and be able to, and setting be able to trigger once an agent is finished successfully. So you mean like the SubAgent event? Yeah, I see what you mean. Agent is done to 11 labs. I don't want to print that. So one thing I did this morning was that I set, instead of only putting up SubAgent stop, I had stop agents and SubAgent stop. And every time the agent completed like a tool, it spammed 11 labs. So I found out that I only had to run the SubAgent stop event. So let's see how this looks now. Yeah, this looks a bit better. Remove the summary part, we don't need that. So we can remove this. Okay. And I want to see now if it says agent is done when my agents are done. If you want an agent to be able to create a summary of another agent's results, this could be the way to create a hook. Yeah, it's quite complex. But it's an interesting workflow. And another thing I heard in the dev talked about in his video was that he was talking about if a sub-agent can call another sub-agent, right? So let's say Anna here could launch other sub-agents.
Agent is done.
Okay, so that was one agent done. That was probably Ben, was it? Yeah. And I want to see now if Anna is, when she is done, if we get the same message.
Agent is done.
Okay, so now we kind of understand that both agents are done. Should be. Yeah, that's good. So that hooks works pretty good, I guess. But I guess we could create... What could be an interesting hook we could do when one agent is finished? This is a bit boring. What do you think, English? Do you have any idea of an interesting hook we could do when one sub-agent is done? Like if I had my email MCP, I did once create a hook that sent me a text message when the agent was done. But I guess in theory we could create a hook that sends me an email when the agent is done. You can use hooks for tests. Yeah, that's pretty good. I guess you could launch some tests on when one agent is done. I guess that's interesting. I only have my one MCP server here now. So it isn't... It's quite easy to understand, but it's coming up with like interesting use case for it. So Carl says summary in 1 to 2 sentences of what I've been done. Yeah, that is why I wanted to try this morning to kind of use the hooks here on the sub-agents. I want to do this Lab integration too. Yeah, it's quite simple. So what I have is I have a MCP server, 11 labs, and I just used so we're just gonna use the 11 labs MCP server here to send the string agent is done. And then we have like a temporary file here that's gonna play.
Agent is done. Agent is done.
I have some old files here, but I have like a temp folder here that plays this sound. What about having to write a Twitter post, create a YouTube short script, or create a Google Docs file? Or yeah, we could do that, of course. You could, of course, have any hook you wanted here at the end. But the issue is that we can't pass along the context. I think we have to get the agent to write the context we create. Let's say we use one agent to fetch some kind of information. But I don't think... Then it has to save the information somewhere before we can use it as a hook, I think. So we could do something like so if we can read this. Read this. And we could list Hey Modern Wizard, nice to see you. And we can ask can you create a hook that writes a summary from each agent when they have completed the task? If that is impossible, you could, of course, instruct each agent to write a very short summary and save it to a text file, and use that text file as the context for the hook. I'm not quite sure how you could do this. What is the best way? And I'm not quite sure about... Where is it? Where are the events? So the pre-tool use events, we have the post-tool use events, notification events. This is the SubAgent stop. Pre-compact, okay. Session start. How much do you use Code in your current $100 plan? I can show you. We just... if you do npx... what was it? I think it was npx cc usage. You can kind of see how much you spent. So I have spent $277 worth of tokens API cost in 30 days. So I've gotten some value from it. You can also do this if you are on your terminal. Hey guys, will the limits come into place 28th of August? Yeah, Michael, if we look at the announcement here, you can see it's gonna be rolled out in late August. So from August 28th, we're gonna introduce the new limits. Right? I think we only want like one text file with a summary from both agents. We don't need any text-to-speech for this hook. Do a lot of you use tools like Whisper Flow, like speech to text? I use it sometimes. It's not all the time. Yeah, it's good for... I like it for when I'm doing plan mode. And just, I'm kind of rambling about the application I want. Whisper is actually one of the good ones. Yeah, what is it called, the one I have? Is it Super Whisper? Whisper Flow? Okay, so the plan is now that the both agents will write a shared file. Okay, but that doesn't really, that's not a hook, is it? Okay, so you made your own one, Carl. That's pretty cool. Using Grok and Whisper. Okay, so the latency is good. But how do you solve kind of the... Okay, so you're on Windows. The clipboard and the paste, that works good. Let's say we run the agents in a chain or in parallel. I guess it's not possible in parallel, but let's say we run the agents in a chain. Is it possible to the first agent in a chain writes a summary, and we could get the second agent in a chain to read the summary. But that's not using hooks, is it? Have you checked out the various agents that's available in Claude Code? You mean the SubAgents? I need to play more with SubAgents, hooks, and MCP. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to learn more about this. I'm gonna see how this works. Yeah, I'm kind of playing around with that too, MikBob. I kind of want to learn a bit more about hooks. I tried it when it came out, but I haven't really implemented any good hooks for my workflows. But I want to learn more about that. So now the agents are instructed to... Okay, I guess I need to stop this again. Because now Ben needs to be able to write and read. So we need to give him that tools. Anna has write and read. So that's good. Just want to see how this turns out. So we can do resume. We can do test now. Before starting your task, check if there is an existing agent summaries.txt. Read it to see what the previous agent has done. Use this context to inform your work. After completing your task, write a brief summary what you found into a file called agent summaries in the working directory. Include your name and key findings. Append to the file if it already exists. But again, I don't think this is any good solution of passing on context. Well, let's see what happens. Might as well just use Claude for this, I think. So Ben ran first. Fetch the Claude documentation, okay. Let me read that file. Okay. Yeah, that's not so interesting, I think. Yeah, I think I want to watch a bit of this video. So if you want to hang around and watch some of the video with me, you can. If not, that's fine. No problem. Let me see if the sound here. Okay.
Back engineers, Indie Dev Dan here. Imagine starting your day. You, of course, open up the terminal, you fire up Claude Code, then you kick off a single prompt /cook that does.
How does the sound? Is it too loud or is it too low? It's kind of hard for me to know. Yeah, stay around if you want to. Too low? Okay, I can put it up here.
Does the work it used to take you hours in minutes. You're able to accomplish this with Claude Code SubAgents. You've created workflows of specialized agents that do one thing and do it extraordinarily well. You can see I have this agent called Meta Agent. My agents are building my agents. Code is a commodity. Your fine-tuned prompts can be valuable, and now your Claude Code SubAgents can yield extreme value for your engineering if you know how to avoid the big 2 mistakes engineers are making with SubAgents. In this video, we're going to break down how to build effective Claude Code SubAgents. We'll of course use this powerful meta agent to build new agents, but before we get there, SubAgents have serious trade-offs and pitfalls you should know about so you don't waste your engineering time and tokens. Let's understand how to take our agentic coding to the next level with Claude Code SubAgents.
Matthias says, what about creating a / command like morning, then Claude should call SubAgents to tell you the weather, summarize your emails. Yeah, that you can create. That should work fine. You just need your MCP servers. Hello, calling Larry. Nice to see you again. Yeah, Matthias, that should be possible.
So first things first, what are Claude Code SubAgents? I can almost guarantee you SubAgents don't work like you think they work. Let me explain. Here's what the flow of Claude Code agents look like end to end. Starts out with your prompt. Your primary agent then prompts your SubAgents. Your SubAgents then do their work autonomously. And then, this is important, they report back to your primary agent. And your primary agent reports back to you. The flow of information here is absolutely critical. You prompt your primary agent, and then your primary agent prompts individual SubAgents based on your original prompt. Your SubAgents respond.
Yeah, that's true, because these SubAgents, they don't have anything of the context, right? Before, if you had a chat with your primary agent, let's say this is Claude Code, these SubAgents doesn't have anything of that context, right? So kind of Claude Code primary agent, we can call it that, like he does, has to pass on that information to the SubAgent.
And not to you, they respond to your primary agent. Okay, many engineers are going to miss this fact. And this changes the way you write your SubAgent prompts. Let's break down exactly what Claude Code SubAgents look like. So inside this code base, we have a simple hello world agent prompt. You can of course see this is operating inside of the brand new agents directory. We have a new agentic directory to focus on. So we'll get to the important meta agent in a moment. Let's start simple and understand what SubAgent prompts look like. We'll open up a new shell here, fire up Claude in YOLO mode, and you'll notice here in the description.
Is it YOLO mode? I guess that's the dangerous permissions flag.
If they say hi Claude or hi CC or hi Claude Code, use this agent, hi CC, and now Claude Code immediately finds this agent, right? It finds the description for this agent and kicks it off. You have your agent name. This is its unique ID. The description, which is very important, this communicates to your primary agent when it should call this agent. Tool.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that yesterday, because if you have a lot of different agents, your description becomes more and more important. That is precise, right? So kind of lowers your chances that Claude Code primary agent is gonna miscall or pick the wrong agent. I heard YOLO, but then I saw yellow on the screen. On the $20 plan, I can't use Opus in Claude Code. Really? Just do /models.
So you can specify specific tools available
SubAgent complete.
and the color, which you can see right here. You can see we have a nice formatted response there. That natural language text-to-speech, by the way, that's set up with Claude Code hooks on the stop event. But if we look at this format, there's something really important here, and we're coming up on the first big mistake engineers are making when using Claude Code SubAgents. If we open up this prompt here, you can see we have a classic markdown format, purpose, and
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was no Opus in 20. That's pretty interesting. But like, I have almost only used Sonnet.
and report. The first mistake engineers make is not understanding that what you're writing here is the system prompt of your sub-agent, okay? This is not the prompt for your agent, okay? It's the system prompt. This is important. It might not seem like an important detail, but it changes the way you write the prompt, and it changes what information.
Yeah, of course it's the system prompt. That is why you can create different agents. So one of your agents can be a back-end developer. One of your agents can be like a front-end developer. A QA agent. So it's a system prompt, right? Like he says. I'm loving YOLO mode. I think I have to try it.
Is available. That's a big mistake. But even bigger is this. Notice how I have this section here. And remember in our diagram here, remember who your sub-agents are responding to. It's not you, it's your primary agent, okay? This response format is gonna be really important. You can see here, I'm explicitly having the sub-agent communicate to the primary agent. I'm saying, Claude, respond to the user with this message. And guess what happened? Look at the response. Hi there, how can I help you? Did you know NVIDIA, blah, 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 right? We had it research some random tech news, right? This is the sub-agent prompt format. We have variable.
So Claude, you said you only use Opus. The usage monitor tool listed on GitHub shows you Opus versus Sonnet. I used all Opus 4 tokens, but still has messages. Okay. I'm on the 100 plan now. Not the max 20, max 5 I think it's called. Even with the $100 Opus, limits are significant after 30 minutes. Yeah, I think the Opus model is... I'm just gonna save that for... I'm saving that for things. But yeah, like someone said you can try Sonnet with UltraThink. Crew AI, yeah, that format, that's true.
Declaration at the top. The cracked Claude Code team is going to tweak, improve, add to these as time goes on. They're probably going to add the model here at some point. We have our system prompt, right? And you can see this right in the docs. If you don't believe me, you can always just open up the doc, search system, and you can see what we're actually writing here is the system prompt. To be super clear, this is not the user prompt, okay? When you're writing, let's open up the prime command. When we have something like this, /prime, this runs right into our primary agent. This is a prompt, right? A user prompt that goes right into the context window of our primary agent, okay? Our agents directory is very different. This is a system prompt. We're defining the top level functionality. These prompts are going to look similar, but it's important to delineate, right? You can pass variables into this. This is a system prompt. This is not what triggers what's actually done. And so, again, just to bring this up, if you understand this, you're going to perform very well with your sub-agents, and you're going to be avoiding the top 2 mistakes engineers make with Claude Code sub-agents.
Yeah, you just have to You just have to understand that the primary agent is what is sending the prompt to the subagent. So you're not sending the prompt to the subagent. That is going to be Claude Code. That is going to pass on the prompt to the subagent. Sonnet is enough. I use Opus only for planning, and yeah, me too.
You don't prompt your subagents. You can write a prompt for your primary agent to prompt your subagents, but you're communicating with your primary Claude Code agent, right? The top level agent. We'll call this the primary agent. It's Claude Code that prompts your subagents, right? It is delegating. You really want to be thinking about your Claude Code subagents as tools of delegation for your primary agent. And this is why the big three is so important. Okay, we cover this all the time on the channel. This isn't going away anytime soon. In fact, it's only going to become more important as we scale up our agentic coding to multi-agent systems, right? Context.
Yeah, Carl. The subagent doesn't have any context, right? So the primary agent that's Claude Code has to pass on this context to the subagents. You could, of course, give them context in the system prompt. I have a subagent that has like a template email, and that context comes from the system prompt, right? So you could give context in the system prompt to the subagents.
Model, prompt, and specifically the flow of the context model and prompt between different agents. Okay, this is super important. Okay, so I think you get the point. I don't need to keep harping on this. It's just really important. If you make these mistakes, this will eventually go awry, right? Especially as you start scaling up what you can do with chains of subagents. Right, so we're just getting started here. You can chain the call and responses and call and responses, right? It's funny that we started out prompt chaining years ago, and now we're still prompt chaining. We're just prompt chaining with bigger compositional units. You and I, the user, prompt the primary agent. They can then run tasks, and then based on the prompt, they come back into the primary agent. And you can have...
So I don't know if anyone has an opinion on this, but I was thinking, when the subagent passes on the context, is there any loss here? Like, do we have to trust that the subagent passes on? I guess it doesn't pass on all the context. It's just going to pass on what it thinks is relevant, I guess. So there could be some loss here in context when we kind of chain this. Because Claude Code is going to get the context from this, let's say, planner agent, subagent. But there could be some loss in context here. I'm not quite sure how that works.
Have your agent keep cooking, right? It can keep doing important work for you. So you can fire off another set of subagents. And so this is the true flow. Your subagents are responding to your primary agent. And if you're doing powerful multi-agent orchestration, which you will be pretty soon here if you're watching the Indie Dev Dan channel, make sure you're subscribed and you comment to stay plugged in to key engineering information like this. You can tell I don't just copy and paste the documentation. Everyone's using this. I think, cool, that's good, use this, but read the documentation, guys. Really read through this stuff. It's important, okay? This is the most important technology of the year, probably of the next few years, right? Agents are how you win as an engineer. Understand what they really do, right? Don't offload all the...
He is really bullish on agents, at least.
...cognitive work to your agents, right? Understand the most important technology, okay? And to be super clear, there's nothing more important right now than agents, and the leading agent is Claude Code. If you've been following the channel, you already know this. You've been listening to me glaze the team and glaze the product, really communicate the value of this, right? But it's all for a reason. I focus on the signal. That every engineer has a superpower. Every engineer is super, super good. They're cracked at something. One of my key abilities is to focus on the signal and cancel out the noise, okay? I can focus directly on the signal of where the valuable information is. Truly, there's no other way I could show up here for you every week with something valuable if I wasn't constantly just obsessed and passionate about finding the signal. Okay, this, again, this is super powerful. Copy it, throw it into an LLM, but don't offload deep understanding, right? You're basically just vibe coding then, okay? Deeply understand your tools so that you can do more, better, faster, cheaper, so on and so forth, okay?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. That's why I'm kind of doubling down now on looking into hooks. I kind of want to learn that a bit more and trying to combine hooks with SubAgents and MCP servers. I think that's a good combo. Hooks, MCP servers, and SubAgents. That is going to be my focus going forward. Yeah, at least when it comes to my workflows.
Anyway, where were we? We were talking about chaining, yes. So this is super important, right? If you want to scale up, you need to understand the information flow, okay? We're not just prompting a chat interface anymore. We're not just dealing with one context model prompt agent system. We're dealing with multi-agent systems, okay? There's a reason I put out that multi-agent observability video. I knew this was coming. It's here, okay? Multi-agent systems are here. The best engineers, the most cracked seniors, we're scaling up hard, okay? Compute. And you can see it here. This is just a simple flow, right? You prompt your agent, it fires subagents, collect results, okay? Then the next step in that custom / command is going to be, great, collect the results, fire off more subagents that, create a concrete solution. This is all fantastic.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but would be nice if you can comment on kind of the context loss here. I'm not quite sure. There's no way to monitor, is it, what the agent is doing? We can't really see the full workflow of the planner. I guess we can kind of see the output, but we can't monitor it. This is in the dev Dan. He's great on Claude Code. I think he only does one video a week, but I really recommend them if you want to dive deep into Claude Code. So I'm trying to kind of up my game a bit on Claude Code. So I've been watching his videos and I recommend them if you want to spend a lot of time on this part of your workflow. I'm going to link the video after.
The results, fire off more subagents that, create a concrete solution. This is all fantastic. Let's actually use this. I did mention I'm going to share my meta agent with you. I built 50, probably 100 plus agents already, which is kind of crazy to say, but it's all thanks to this meta agent, right? As soon as you get access to a new feature, figure out how you can scale it up. Oftentimes, with Gen AI, you build a meta version of that, right? The thing that builds the thing.
Scares me every time.
What are we going to do here? Let's just delete a bunch of stuff, okay? If this causes you pain, if deleting causes you pain, you probably aren't deleting enough. So let's get rid of this, let's get rid of this, and let's get rid of this as well. Let's create new agents with our meta agent. And so to queue this up, a big issue I see in the engineering space, in the Gen AI ecosystem, is that I'm seeing a lot of engineers using technology to create solutions for problems that don't exist.
Yeah, it is very dramatic. That's true. Can you create a subagent that writes to a file? Writes to a file the input it received? So you mean it writes to a file what the primary or Claude Code told it to do? Is that what you mean? I work a lot of meta nowadays. Totally feel him. Okay.
Noobs and beginners, they start with the technology and work backward. If you want to become a real engineer, if you want to continue being a valuable engineer in the generative AI age, work the other way. Work the right way. Work the way that product builders think. You have a problem first, next comes a solution, and then the tech comes third. Okay? Problem, solution, tech. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Let me show you a concrete example. Let's use our meta agent to solve a real problem. Let's start at the top, right? What's the problem? When I'm agentic coding at scale, I lose track of what some agents have done. Okay? Problem statement. Solution. Add text to speech to my agents so they notify me when they're done and, more importantly, what they've done. Okay, so now we have a problem and a solution. Now let's use the technology. Okay? Only after you have a problem and solution.
Yeah, that's the hook we created earlier. I kind of saw him do that in another video. I think it was in a hooks video or something. he had 11 Labs read out what the agent, or I guess it wasn't the agent, has done, or that it was done. But yeah, he's very dramatic. But one thing, I never seen him build anything in his videos. That would be pretty interesting to see how he uses this for like a small project or something. Maybe he has done that, but I'm not quite sure.
Should you move to technology? So technology, we can use Claude Code SubAgents. I have a meta agent here that I can use to build up a new text-to-speech agent that communicates what was done. Okay, fantastic. Order matters. Problem, solution, technology. So inside of .mcp.json.sample, we have a setup for the 11 Labs MCP server. I have this configured in my .json here. This is get ignored because of course we have environment variable information here. First, I want to understand what my agent can do. So I'm going to run all tools. All tools looks like this. It's a simple reusable prompt. List all available tools in your system prompt. I want bullet points. I want TypeScript function signature format. This is going to allow us to understand the tools available to us. And specifically, I want to see the 11 Labs tools. Great. So here are all the available tools. I'm just going to copy these out so I can quickly search. I need two things, text to speech, and we probably need some way to play, right? So I'm going to search text, forward looking speech.
I see what
There
you
it
mean,
is.
Cole.
Text to speech. So I'm just going to paste that here. And we also want to find a play. There it is, play audio. Great. Okay, so we have these two methods that we can use, and we actually want the entire definition so that we can know the exact parameters that we're playing with. All right, let's paste this all in. Mode, back to text, format real quick. Great, now let's go ahead and just run these, right? So this is in our primary agents context window. I'm just gonna say 11 Labs. I've completed. Next we can, and I think we have voice ID here. Let me quickly copy one of my favorite 11 Labs voice IDs. Voice ID, just gonna be super clear in the prompt. Output directory, right? Output, great, output directory. Output to PWD, which is current working directory / output. I'm gonna have Claude Code Opus fire off this tool here. And all I'm doing here is validating the workflow I'm going to encode into an agent. So text to speech, great, save the file. And now we want to run.
All set and ready for your next step.
Great, now we're going to run play.
Where did he get that list of MCP servers? I think he just has a custom command that lists all tools. I'm going to link you the video afterwards. But I think he has a custom commands that just lists all his tools on all his MCP servers and other tools.
Audio. And I should just be able to say play audio because all the context is loaded. Our agent is prime. Okay, that was good. I was talking over it, so I'm going to run it again. Run again.
I've completed XYZ. Next we can ABC.
Great. So we can see that we have text-to-speech working. We now have full capability to have our agents communicate with us via a sub-agent. Okay, so fantastic. So now we can crank open our powerful meta prompt. Okay, so now that we know the workflow and the work that we want done, we can build a new agent that encapsulates this work. So we can open this up and we can see exactly what our meta agent is doing. It has a system prompt that details how to create a new agent, right? It's doing all this work in the isolated context window.
Okay, so let me see. I guess it's gonna use his meta agent as like a builder for this 11 Labs agent, I guess. Yeah, that has to be the way.
Agent.
I guess that's pretty cool.
Right? It's doing all this work in the isolated context window. And so I'll fast forward through this. I'm going to type up the prompt right here. So this is what it's going to look like, right? Build a new sub-agent. So I'm asking Claude Code to build the agent. And you can see here, generate a new complete Claude Code sub-agent configuration file from a user's description, okay? So use this to create new agents proactively. So we're using the information dense keyword encoded by Anthropic, and that we should probably make this uppercase just to make it more dramatic. When a user asks you to create a new sub-agent, okay? So we want to make sure that we have that language inside of our prompt, build a new sub-agent. Great, we're defining when it's proactively triggered. Based on our conversation so far, our agents will have blah, 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 blah. I'm just detailing exactly the flow that we went through, okay? Get the current working directory, text to speech, play. Great, so we can copy this. Let's fire this off. And now you're going to see the description of our meta agent here get activated. This is very important. You need your description to properly set up when your agent should call a specific sub agent. So you can.
Yeah, I just used I can see why he wants to use it this way if he needs kind of a very structured way. But let me see here. Completes code subagent configuration for a file. Yeah, I guess the subscription. Use this proactively when the user asks you to create a new subagent. Yeah, I guess that's fine. But you could just use the /agent too, I guess. But I guess you can use. I see.
Claude Code is thinking about this. It knows, and now it's going to use the subagent. So, couple key pieces inside of this prompt. I'm not just having this build on zero information. I'm repooling the Claude Code documentation live. Okay, I want the most recent updated AI documentation. Viewers of the channel, you know that I like to place this in AI Docs, but there's a more powerful way to do this where inside of AI Docs, you just place a...
Yeah, that's something I've been doing for months now. Has to be a year. I always start my project with an AI Docs folder. But lately I've been kind of using Claude Code Studio's web fetch. But when I have docs, I don't have to fetch it every single time when it's not in context.
README, and then on the fly, you have, a prompt or now a subagent pull in live documentation with some type of refresh command. And so you can see we have a brand new agent generated there. Let's go ahead and understand what's happened. Great, so 3 tool uses, our meta agent.
Hello, eToro. Okay, so proactively is an anthropic keyword. I didn't know that. Could you elaborate a bit? Do you know what exactly it means?
Agent successfully created, now wants to read and verify. So this is great. So our reasoning model is double checking the work. It's read the file and now it exists.
All set and ready for the next step.
Let's go ahead and check it out. This is a great summary, voice, proactive, output, autoplay. Looks good. Let's go ahead and look at our new agent. You can see it's in the exact format as we asked. Fantastic. So we can see here, always review. Every word must add value. That's great. I like that line. No pleasantries. Yep, exactly. I'm going to add a couple of things, right? So variables, username, and what else we're going to do here? I want just one sentence. These can be quite long. A concise one sentence looks great. I want to make a couple tweaks here specifically to the description. This determines when your primary agent is going to call your subagent. Claude Code has this IDK, this information dense keyword that they mention proactively, right? They even have a little section for it, used proactively or must be used.
Okay, so here it is. So to encourage more proactive subagent use, include phrases like proactively or must be used in your description field. When I see it now, I kind of remember that. To encourage more proactive subagent use. So that is kind of for the primary agent then, I guess. So Claude Code should always try to delegate more to the subagents.
What we can do here is something a little bit extra, right? You noticed in my hello world agent, I like to have these concrete tags or these concrete triggers for my subagents. So if they say X, Y, or Z, use this agent. So I'm basically just going to reuse this pattern. Frankly, I should encode this into my meta agent. I'm just going to add this here, right? If they say TTS summary, use this agent. Review, user prompt given to you, a concise summary of what it does. By the way, one of the big reasons I'm using cursor still is for writing prompts. It's great for that tab completion. I also want to add one thing here. So coming full circle here, remember that if you go back to our basic flow here, it's your primary agent that prompts your subagent. What your primary agent can see and has access to is this description, right? This is how it knows when to call any given subagent you have.
So he's trying to use keywords. So he has like TTS summary, auto summary. Yeah, the proper detail instructions for agents become more and more important the more agents you have, right? Because you don't want the primary agent, that is Claude Code, to call the wrong agent for a task. If you have like 5 different front-end agents, that's gonna be difficult for Claude Code to pick what kind of agent is correct. So I guess the more precise you are in your agent description, the better Claude Code is going to be to delegate tasks to the correct subagents.
Really want to leverage the description and tell your top-level agent how to prompt this agent. When you prompt this agent, describe exactly what you want them to communicate to the user. And I'm going to add even more detail here. I'm going to say, remember, and again, this is something that I really just need to encode in my meta agent. Remember, this agent has no context, any questions, conversations between you and the user.
Yeah, so of course the description, this is for Claude Code primary agent, right? This is not for the sub-agent, so this description part is of course only for Claude Code, kind of the primary delegation main agent. So yeah, I kind of like that inclusion here.
Any questions, conversations between you and the user. And something I like to do to increase prompt adherence, Anthropic has another information dense keyword that you can use. It is this, so important : I'm going to be absolutely clear with this agent. Do these following things, right? We want a concise summary of what was done. And also I want to add one more here. Best practices: important, run only bash pwd and the 11 labs MCP tools. Don't use any other tools. Base your response exactly. Okay, let's fire up another Claude.
I guess that part you can just, with sub-agents, you can also use the kind of the permission if you only want to give them certain tools. But he's trying to do it this way, I guess.
Base your response exactly. Okay, let's fire up another Claude instance. We'll go ahead and just use Sonnet for this one. What does this code base do? Use TTS summary. After we add details to when this should be called, after we add instructions to the system prompt for our work completion summary subagent, we now have an operational agent that can quickly summarize in natural language for us anywhere, anytime on any piece of work, right? This is the beauty of agents and reusable prompts. Now we have this problem solved for good, and we can reuse it and improve it when we need to. Codebase has been analyzed, and now we're getting text-to-speech structure, text-to-speech response. There it is. There's an input prompt.
This code base demonstrates Claude Code Hook's mastery with all 6 lifecycle events implemented for deterministic control, featuring security filtering, intelligent TTS feedback,
That was a long one.
automatic JSON logging, and UV single file architecture. Next step: explore specific hook implementations or test the security filtering functionality.
Nice. Okay, so that looked good, or that sounded good rather. You can see here, there is work to be done here that was still longer than I wanted it to be. If we open up logs, thanks to Claude Code Hooks, we are recording all the conversation that just happened. So we can do something really cool. If we want to, we can dive in and actually see our top level agent prompting our subagent and our subagent prompting the response back to our top level agent. I'll leave that up to you. After you finish watching this video, run this, fire off the hello world agent and the meta agent so you can really understand what the flow of information is between multi-agent systems inside of Claude Code.
Yeah, I kind of want to check that out. I kind of want to see how I wanted to see how Claude Code actually prompts the sub-agent, and I kind of want to see what the sub-agent gives its response to the primary agent.
So the benefits are pretty straightforward, right? Cloud Code engineers said it themselves. Context preservation. This is both a benefit and an issue. We'll talk about how this is an issue in a moment, but each sub-agent operates in its own context, preventing pollution of the main conversation. So this.
Yeah, that is kind of what I talked about. I think when each agent has kind of their own context window, this means that we can run the we can keep it running very long, kind of if we have a lot of sub-agents, we don't have to stop because of a full context window. like I said many times now, I ran like a 6-hour SubAgent test. I ran 6 hours.
This is powerful. We are booting up fresh agent instances for every one of these tasks that we have. For our natural language text to speech, for our meta agent, they all have their own isolated context window. This is very powerful. On the channel, we're going to talk more about how you can use this to scale agents across your large complex code bases. You could already do this with SubAgents, but now you can do it even better with specialized SubAgents. All right, so you get to save your context window. This is a big idea that's going to come back up over and over again until we get those 5 million plus context windows. You know, I can tell you those aren't coming anytime soon as far as I can see. I would love to be wrong about that. Specialized agent expertise. We can, of course, fine tune the instructions and the tools. So, you know, you can see this here for our text-to-speech agent. You can see we wrote a nice, rich description on not only when to trigger this, but we're giving our top-level agent instructions on how to prompt this. Okay, a lot of engineers are going to miss this. Don't be one of
Yeah, this is what I meant by we're giving instructions to Claude Code how to prompt the SubAgent, I guess.
them. You can instruct how exactly you want the prompt to flow in here in the description. Reusability, this is a classic one. By storing this inside your repository, you can build agents for your code base. There's a powerful way we're going to discuss on the channel to use a meta agent to build specialized, localized agents that excel at operating specific parts of your large code base. Again, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff so you don't miss out on future valuable information like this. Flexible permissions, you can lock down the tools your agent can call. That's fantastic. Obviously, if you're in YOLO mode, you have to be more explicit about what tools can run, which is why I added this important best practice here. But that's that. So these are the kind of 4 key benefits that Anthropic lists directly here. I think these are all true. There are a couple hidden benefits as well. You get focused agents, all right? And you know,
Yeah, try that, Matthias. If you finish before we're done with this, let me know.
Claude Code team does mention this, but you can really take this far, right? Just like booting up a fresh agent with a single prompt, when you use Claude Code SubAgents, the agent is fresh. It only knows what your primary agent tells it. That means it's less likely to make mistakes, given that you design a good system prompt. Why is that? It's because your agent is focused on one thing. Just like a focused engineer, when you're focused on one thing, you perform better. Full stop. Another hidden benefit of Claude Code SubAgents is simple multi-agent orchestration. And this is
Hello, Rapid. I was wondering how I can build an agent based on full documentations of a library. Just saying agent for this library. I want to use the best practices plan in the docs. Have you looked at the MCP server context 7? I can probably link it to. Take a look at context 7. I'm gonna link it to. So if I go here, check this out. Could help you.
is something that I'm most excited for. With custom slash commands combined with Claude Code hooks, combined with SubAgents, right? Just kind of stacking up these powerful features, you can build powerful yet simple multi-agent systems. So, as a concrete example, we have this in our commands, we have this classic prime command, and we can easily improve this, right? So now we can have prime TTS. So say I want to kick off prime, I can say when you finish, run the TTS summary agent, the user know you're ready to build. I already have Claude Code hooks with text-to-speech. We did this in a previous video. I'll link that in the description if you're interested. But
yeah, that's the one I saw. Just want to say I'm glad you're streaming when I got into the flow this morning. Yeah, thanks, Cole. Thanks for hanging out. I like it. Cool. For better efficiency, create a shared memory so agents track each other. Cuts content size since they read instead of using carrying prompts. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Go to context 7, copy the whole docs of our library, put it into a file. And then the agent actually works with it locally instead of going to the MCP. Yeah, you could do that. But then I would really try to use the SubAgents rapid so you don't fill up your context window, right? Need to test more of the possibility to give SubAgents proper context. Yeah, you could instruct the SubAgents to use MCP servers too. So they could use the context 7 MCP. Yeah, rapid. I will look at SubAgents and just make them read from your file. Create the SubAgents and just instruct them to read from your, let's say you have a big file or something. Or like a part of each library. I'm not quite sure.
We could, of course, run this now in a fresh instance. We can run prime TTS. And now when this finishes, we're going to run, right? We're going to chain text-to-speech summary agent at the end. There is, and so here's the summary. It wrote the text-to-speech, so we have the audio file.
Claude Code Hooks Mastery Project with complete coverage of all 6 hook lifecycle events.
There we go. So it's ready to go. So if you open up that summary there, Control E, you can see Claude Code analyze hooks, mastery, blah, 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 blah. So it's letting us know that it is complete. We were able to guide our primary agent's prompt to our sub-agent right here, right? When you finish, run the TTS summary agent and let the user know you're ready to build. So this is another hidden benefit, right? We improve our multi-agent orchestration, okay? And so another pro and con is prompt delegation. So again, this is kind of on the line. You're delegating your prompts to the primary agent. Oftentimes, just like you saw here, and just like you saw in the work completion summary agent, right, in the description, this means you have to do a little bit more work guiding your primary agent to call your sub-agent properly. This is powerful though. It's still good. We are offloading work, right? We're encoding powerful engineering practices into our prompts and now into our sub-agents. So all in all, it's good. So what are the issues of this, right? The opposite of context preservation is that, and this was a great example because you kind of saw that. You need to be super clear to your sub-agents and to your primary agent what you're passing into.
Yeah, I see what it means. Because the sub-agent doesn't have any context what happened earlier in the conversation. Since every sub-agent comes in fresh with a clear context window, they don't know what's going on. So they need all that description or information from the primary agent, right? It has to be that.
Sub-agent because it doesn't have any previous context. By definition, every sub-agent having its own context means that there is no context history. It doesn't have the rich context that your primary agent has. It has only what your primary agent prompts it with. This is the equivalent, just to make it ultra clear, this is like firing up Claude in print mode, whatever you can run, YOLO or dangerous, blah, blah, blah.
YOLO.
And don't run this, by the way, if you don't know what you're doing. This will run any command. We're starting to see in the industry, YOLO mode coders are getting cooked by this command. So
wasn't there something, I guess that maybe that was Replit, but some kind of vibe coding tool that deleted a full database? I think so. I think it's okay for sub-agents not to have all the context is optimal, but the main agent should not lose context when getting sub-agent responses. Yeah, so that is kind of, I think, what's pretty good with the main agent now is that it's not going to run out of context if you run the sub-agents, I think. Used sub-agents over a year ago with the MCPs as part of a research project. The real issue was the loss of efficiency because the agents... yeah, I see what you mean. Are you still creating local doc references or fully swapped over to just context 7? It kind of depends, Night Spider. I sometimes set up my MCP context 7... context 7 MCP. But for sometimes I'm just creating local references if I just have a small project. Alpha says, do you think the primary agent has all the sub-agent context? Yeah, that was what I was wondering about. Is there any loss there on the sub-agent? Because it has to pass on its context to the primary agent, right? So I was kind of hoping he talked about maybe some loss on the sub-agents when it's passing on its context, because it's not going to give the full context to the primary agent again. Hello 88 Dusky, so the Context 7 API is currently in the preview. Yeah, I think it is. But I really like what they are doing. And you can also, if you don't want to use their MCP server, you could just copy their documentation like in a raw text file.
Be really careful. But this runs the following, right? So it's basically saying call work completion summary agent, and then you're passing in one prompt. Okay, this is what your primary agent is doing when it's calling the subagents. It's literally like it's you calling a one-shot prompt to the subagent. Okay, there's no context. This is a problem, right? It's a problem and it's a benefit, right? It's the opposite side of the coin of context preservation. Another big issue: these subagents are hard to debug. You can see every time we run.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about. We can't really see everything that's going on, I guess, in the subagent. At least I haven't seen a way to do that. Maybe he knows something here.
One of these, right? If we run high CC, even with this simple prompt, we have no idea what's going on here. We'll get the tool calls, which is super, super nice. But the actual workflows, the prompts, the full parameters for every tool call, we don't get these. And this is by design, but it also makes these harder to debug and understand what's going on, right? So another big issue here is decision overload. As you start scaling up the number of agents you have, it's going to be harder and harder for your agent to know which one to call.
Subagent complete.
Okay, commands are a bit different, although, you, the engineer, might forget all the commands that you have, right? You just might start forgetting all these commands, right? All the powerful.
Hello, Alexander. How long does the subagent retain the context once completion? Or does it loop back into no context? I think, to be honest, I just think when one sub-agent is done, when you start it again, it's just gonna be fresh. Right? I don't know if any other think that. I think that's what's gonna happen. When one sub-agent has completed and it says done, when we start it again, it's just gonna be fresh again. So we kind of rely on the main agent to keep hold of the context.
Commands we've built. Agents are a little different because based on the description and based on the number of agents you have, your primary agent might get confused here, okay? So this is important. You really want to be keeping track of your agents. Otherwise, it'll come back to bite you and you're going to kick off these agents when you don't want to. As a solution, you really want to be clear about when to call your subagents with the description variable. This is the most important variable right next to the name. Two remaining issues here. Dependency coupling is going to be a problem here. So once you start setting up prompts, primary agent, reusable prompts or custom slash commands, and once these are calling out your sub-agents, which this is how you start scaling up into multi-agent systems. Once you get that going, it's going to be hard, again, back to debugging, it's going to be hard to understand what's going on. You're going to have dependency coupling. Inevitably, you're going to have an agent depend on output from another agent, depend on the format of the specific response from another agent, on and on and on. And then one day, you're going to need to change something to improve it or to ship something new, whatever. You're going to change the planner agent right here, and it's going to ruin everything else.
Yeah, I see what it means. Because if this agent, let's say the reporter agent, is dependent on kind of the output from the planner agent, and if this changed and this is expecting an output in this format, that is going to break, right? Benjamin says, yeah, I think the sub-agent just passes the output to the primary agent. Yeah, I think that's it. And when it's done, if you start it again, I think it's just going to be a new context window.
Because one thing changed, we're already operating in non-deterministic systems. When that one thing changes, it could blow up everything else, okay? So there's another problem with sub-agents. As you start scaling them up, keep your eye on this. Try to keep them separate. Try to keep them in isolated workflows. Don't overload your sub-agent chain, okay? And then last thing, and this is just kind of a request on my side, even though it is literally counterintuitive to what I was just saying, you cannot call sub-agents in your sub-agents, okay? Probably for all the reasons that I just mentioned. It would be cool if we had, kind of like dangerous sub-agent true, right? So that
Yeah, that is a cool idea, right? But how would that work? If your sub-agents could call other sub-agents, then it starts to be really hard to control that, right?
Inside of this agent, or it's probably like sub-agent true. So that inside of this agent, we enable this dangerous, powerful setting of calling sub-agents inside of sub-agents. So this is me just being picky. That's not actually a real issue, but it's important to note that, you can't call sub-agents in your sub-agents, at least not yet. That's me being hopeful. So this is a very powerful feature. We have quite a few more ideas to explore here with the combination of agents and custom slash commands, aka reusable prompts. Remember that perspective matters as you start scaling up your multi-agent system, right? The flow of the big three, context, model, and prompt, matter more than ever and more as you scale up the number of agents who have shipping work on your behalf. There's a reason why it's a principle of AI coding. As usual, link in the description if you want to learn the other principles of AI coding that will help you differentiate what you can do with agentic coding. And I'll go ahead and bring back the other prompts that I had here just for fun. But the meta agent is going to be here available to you. Link in the description. I'm going to add these to the Claude Code Hooks Mastery code base. If you made it to the end, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. No matter what, stay focused and keep building.
Yeah, I think it's a good video. I think it's good if I'm gonna link it.
I've been using Claude Code for a month.
Sorry about that. I'm gonna link the video. Just give me a second. And if you... I think this is a great channel if you kind of want to dive deep into Claude Code. I think it mostly focuses on Claude Code. So yeah, that's my alarm. I have a meeting in 30 minutes. Staying focused, that's the challenge. Yeah, I agree. Let's ask Claude Primary Agent if he can access one of your sub-agents' context. Okay, I see what you mean. Each model has its strengths and weaknesses. Giving sub-agents their own MCPs or sub-agents broadens their view and make responses more complete and efficient. Yeah, there's no problem giving the MCPs, at least they can use that. But sub-agents, it would be cool to try it out. I would, if it was possible. But yeah, pretty good video. I liked it. I think my takeaway is that I really like what he said about the description part. So if we look at my simple agent here, Anna, we could kind of give some instructions to the primary agent. Always remember that the agent does not have any context of previous conversation. Update the agent with the latest information. So if I do that and I go to my agents here, I can do like a restart Claude, and I'm just gonna say, if I say to Claude now, hello, my name is Chris, and I do agent Anna, just gonna see. Okay, so I can't really see what the agent is putting in here, but that's fine. I might look into that, how we can do that. But yeah, today we had a look at the new rate limits for Claude Code. Pretty interesting conversation about that. A lot of people were a bit disappointed, but not surprised. We had a look at some hooks and some agents. I'm still trying to learn more about subagents and hooks. So I'm gonna continue a bit with that. I also have some plans at looking at Claude Flow when I have time. And we kind of watched a new video. I thought it was pretty interesting. I think I learned something from it. So yeah, thanks Night Spider, thank you for tuning in. Probably wouldn't have done much live testing on Claude Code while watching. That's cool. Yeah, I appreciate everyone tuning in. It's always nice to hear what other people really thought about this new weekly limits. And yeah, thanks for all the chats and the engagement. Like I said, this week I'm probably gonna do a few more streams. Yeah, I think it's just fun. Okay, Benjamin, thanks for tuning in. Good night, I guess. Thank you, Suni, as always, for everyone tuning in. Appreciate it. So yeah, exciting times ahead. We're looking out for GPT-5 soon. Hopefully we can give Anthropic some more competition on the coding side, so maybe we can get the prices down. Alexander, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Bye, Carl. Good night. So yeah, I might do a new stream tomorrow. Let's see if I have time. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day or night or morning, I guess, if you're on the west side of the world. And hopefully I'll see you again pretty soon. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a great day and we speak soon.